Are we overreacting to the Spurs Wembanyama's play in preseason game one?
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
This is Emily Swallow, and you are listening to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
Welcome back to Locked On Spurs right here on the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Glad to have you back. Hope everybody's having a great work week. We'll get you through today's work day right here on Locked On Spurs. This episode is brought to you by Jace Medical. Empower yourself when you purchase a Jace case, providing you with a personal supply of 5 antibiotics that treat 50-plus infections. Get yours today at jacemedical.com. That's Jase medical.com. So as you can clearly tell, it is an audio show today. Unfortunately, myself and the guests, our schedules could not line up. Work, real life gets in the way sometimes, people. And unfortunately, we have to carve out some time for us to meet. By the way, that guest is going to be Rudy Campos. Sweep the league. We'll introduce him in just a few short minutes. What are we talking about today? We're going to be looking at that preseason game one. Everybody's riding high right now, right? Wemby looked unstoppable. He looked like that alien that everybody thought he would be. Spurs, although they lost, still a lot to be happy about. But are we knee-jerking? Are we going overboard on a preseason game? And also, speaking of big men, are the Spurs maybe too deep at bigs? Is Charles Bassey going to be the odd big man out? Maybe it's somebody else. We'll discuss that right here on Locked On Spurs. But I want to talk to you about that preseason matchup. Yeah, it was great, wasn't it? To see the Spurs looking not like the Spurs of last year, being very competitive. Trey Jones knocking down some outside shots. Wemby being Wemby, and just what the stat line he put up, like 20 points, looking like a beast. And of course, collectively the Spurs look good. Now, again, it's a preseason game, and at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. But are we going too much? Is this overboard? Hate to say it, I think maybe it is. It is a meaningless game. It looked like Papa was just evaluating talent. There was no structure. Papa said after the game that they were just going to let them kind of just free ride it. Let them do what they do. But what does this team going to look like when they implement a game plan? What's this team going to look like when they're rocking and rolling? When it's a 4 down, maybe being resurrected, or maybe it's back to half court, or maybe just run and gun. We don't know yet. And although this is a good step, ultimately, that preseason game is just a kind of a look ahead of what could be, what this team could look like down the road. I'm pretty sure, they go up against the defending champs, Denver. That might be a different issue for them in the regular season. They'll go up against perhaps the Bucks or the Suns or the Warriors. Might look different. But as of now, just keep this in mind. It is a good first step. And that's all it is. Let's go and bring in our guest. He is Sweep the League's very own Rudy Campos. Follow him on Twitter at Sweep the League. Rudy, what is it about you and me when it comes to Locked On Spurs? It's like our schedules get so screwed up that we have to go with audio.
Yeah, sometimes the schedules just don't align, but it's the billionaire's life that you and I live. I mean, we're always on jets and airplanes and helicopters, so it just kind of doesn't align all the time.
Yeah, but hey, we're here. Look, it is still preseason, so no big whoop. Regular season is just down the road. Make sure to follow Rudy on Twitter at Sweep the League. He is with Sweep the League, obviously, and he'll tell you what's going on in his neck of the woods and more right here on Locked On Spurs. So, Rudy, right, get the parade going in Commerce Street, right? I mean, the Spurs are going to be world beaters right after preseason game one.
Yeah, I from what you can tell from the fans' perspective, yeah, they're going to be world beaters. They're already penciling them into the finals, all that great stuff. I mean, great performance last night for the San Antonio Spurs against the Oklahoma City Thunder. The thing was, it was a good performance. To me, it wasn't great, but it was a really good showing by the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah, before we become the wet blanket on the parade, we'll do that in the next segment. Let's talk about what went right. Right off the bat, I like that Trey Jones was looking aggressive for this shot. He knocked down an outside three. He was knocking down some perimeter shots. Even if he was missing them, I like the fact that he was just attempting them because that's his biggest weakness. And it looks like he's at least aware of it, Rudy. and hoping to get better at that. And what a good way to do it than a meaningless preseason game versus Thunder. What did you see out of Tre Jones?
I saw Trey, like you said, being very aggressive, looking
Yeah.
for his shot, trying to insert himself a little more offensively. I'm going to save the negative part for Trey that I did see that was kind of uncharacteristic. But positive side is he was looking to get to the basket. He was looking to score, something you don't really see out of Tre Jones. 12 points on the night. Assists were, right where they need to be, 6 assists. That's kind of where I like to see Trey for the point guard position. And again, active on the rebounds as well. I think he had a steal in that game. So overall, again, the guy who we always said last season was the stat stuffer, he was doing it again against Oklahoma City.
Yeah, Tre Jones. And the thing, too, he started. I thought that was interesting because remember the Pop's been saying in training camp and preseason that he doesn't know what they're going to go with. They'll start Tre Jones, not go just all crazy with it and get some weird-ass lineup out there. But at the end of the day, Tre Jones started. You think, again, he might be the go-to guy starting with those other big dudes come opening night.
Yeah, I think you're going to go with Trey. I mean, unless some kind of actual trade happens where they bring in, a top-tier point guard, I think we're going to see Tre Jones start the season. Funny is I think we might actually see Devontae Graham possibly kind of compete for that starting point guard spot. Something to kind of look out for there with the Spurs, but I think Trey starts the season as a starting point guard.
Yeah, now look, he wasn't Steph Curry out there versus the Thunder, that being Tre Jones. But again, in a meaningless preseason game, you want to see if his attention is to the outside shot. Now, he hit a 3 to start the game. Then he missed his other three-point attempt. He missed 2 shots at the rim, but he hit a mid-range shot. He attempted a shot from the free throw line and a shot at the baseline. He went 3 for 9 on the game. Again, that is still a work in progress, but at least he was going for it. We got to talk about the tall Frenchman in the room, Victor Wembanyama. I mean, what more can you say? Now, look, we know the numbers, the 20 points, the block, and all that stuff, running the floor, putting on a show. But do you think his performance changes against a team that's fully powered? Thunder were not. A San Antonio team that has Keldon and Sohan, I think that maybe enhances his play. Do you think fans, me, should come down a notch after just one preseason performance from Victor?
I think it's exactly what we're expecting it to be. It's preseason. I mean, he's going to get a lot of looks. He's going to get a lot of attention. He's going to get some shots up. And it's kind of like the Summer League where he had that terrific game in the Summer League. It's the same thing. Take preseason for what it's worth. It's preseason. You're not going to see a lot of guys, a lot of starters out there. A lot of the main players are going to go out there and really go, balls to the wall and try to do something. They're just trying to get acclimated to the game. Victor's trying to get acclimated to the game. So, again, it's not a problem to overreact. It's not a problem to be excited for what you saw. It was very exciting to see Victor on the court, play with some of his teammates already, getting some actual game time, NBA game time experience. But, again, it's preseason. Give it a few more games. Wait till the regular season starts here in a couple of weeks and then get a real feel for how it's going to go.
Yeah, he finished from shooting from the night 8 for 13 from the field, did most of his damage, shocking at the rim. Nailed a couple of 3-point shots straight on, so that was good to see. He did miss 3 other 3-point shots, and he missed a couple of mid-range shots. But nevertheless, just what he did just across that stat sheet. I mean, points aside, running the floor. He got his ankles broke early in the game, but his length allows him to recover so quick, and he's going to rely on that so much because, look, let's face it, Rudy. Quicker guards, your Steph Currys, your Dame Lillards, they're going to try to break them off the dribble. And if that length could be a problem, then watch out, league. What do you think?
Yeah, it's kind of a two-way street with Victor. I mean, he's gonna get crossed up a lot. He's real lanky. He's real thin right now. So he's still trying to develop. He's trying to develop into the defensive player that we're expecting him to be at the NBA level. But being that he's so tall, you're going to have guards crossing him up. Guys like, you said Steph Curry, Dame Lillard, even guys like Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, who are a little bit bigger, are going to probably get around him. But with his length, he's able to recover. And that's the part that a lot of other players are noticing too. You may be able to get by him, but he can recover. He's quick enough to recover. What we saw last night, the other night with Victor in Oklahoma City was, against Chet Holmgren. It was a really good comparison there. I think Chet finished with 21 points and 9 boards. Victor had 20 points and 5 boards. Pretty similar stat lines right there. Both of them played well. But what I like with Victor is the fact that on the defensive side, he's able to recover if he was able to get crossed over or blown right by. And that's going to spell it's going to spell pretty bad news for the league there, because they're going to think they've got him, and all of a sudden he's right there next to you.
Yeah, by now everybody knows what Victor did in Game 1 preseason matchup versus OKC. But I think one guy who's not getting attention is Malachi Branham. I mean, my guys, 19 minutes, 6 for 8 from the field, 2 for 2 from the 3-line, finished with 15 points. I was setting it up here for you. What did you see out of Malachi? Because I saw a potent player coming off that bench.
Yeah, I mean, in the offseason, when we've talked about Malachi, you and I, Jeff, I've clearly said he's going to be the sixth guy off the bench. He's got to be that sixth man, the first one right off the bench. He's a guard. He's a forward combo. You're talking about, again, a guy that I'm going to reiterate again. I'm going to say it to the top of my lungs. He should have been a lottery pick coming out of that draft. He was destined to be a lottery pick, dropped to the Spurs, into the late first round, and they got a gem. I mean, you saw Malachi do 15 points, 2 of 2 from three-point range. The kid can score, and a guy with like Victor's capability, he's going to draw a lot of attention. So Malachi's going to get a lot of open looks, and he's taking advantage of them right now in the preseason as well as the summer league. Even last season without Victor, you saw the growth in Malachi. That's a guy right there that we need to watch. Would he be a starter with the Spurs? Potentially, but I'd like to see him come off the bench as being the sixth man, because I think they need to get that second unit, squared away.
I was at Media Day, and Branham's name popped up a lot, whether it be on the main stage during Media Day, with the players coming out, or my discussion with Doug McDermott. He said Malachi was the guy that really impressed him in those off-season mini camps. So he's definitely somebody to watch, but what he did versus OKC is instrumental. Hey, we're not done talking. We'll get back. We're going to continue looking back at that Spurs preseason Game 1. We're going to try to not be the wet blanket on the parade, but we're going to have to. And more right here on Locked On Spurs with Campos of Sweep the League. But before we do all that, I want to talk to you about Jase Medical. Look, you got to get yourself the Jase case right now. It provides 5 life-saving antibiotics for emergency use. All it takes to get a Jase case is to fill out a simple online form. In some cases, jump on a quick call with one of their board-certified physicians. Doctor-created, doctor-recommended. You get ongoing care from their physicians on any treatment-related questions. Don't get caught unprepared. Be ready for yourself, for your loved ones during the unexpected. Jase handles everything from online evaluation to licensed pharmacy medication delivery and ongoing consultation and care. Look, with shortages, storms, pandemics, reliance on China, and supply chain issues, you need to be prepared now more than ever. Get the Jase case. I got one. It's convenient. It's a small little pouch. Fits nice and snug, and it's not a space eater in your apartment, home, whatever you got. Jase Medical is simple. Again, go online, fill out that form, get yourself that Jase case. Get $20 off these life-saving antibiotics today from Jase Medical by using my code LOCKEDON at checkout. That's jasemedical.com. That's JASE medical.com.
Hey everybody, this is Nathan Ray Clark from Criminal Minds and Modern Family, and you are listening to Locked On Spurs, hosted by Victor Wembanyama's new best friend, Jeff Garcia.
And we're back right here on Locked On Spurs with Rudy Campos of Sweep the League. Make sure to follow him on Twitter at Sweep the League. And thanks for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. You guys are the everydayers. On tomorrow's show, we'll be talking more silver and black, likely Wembanyama, and likely the fact that in training camp, Rudy Campos took Wemby to school and decimated him. Why did you have to do that to the 19-year-old Rudy?
I've got to give him some of that early love and toughness, man. He's going into the NBA, which I used to play in the NBA 2K league for a while there, but yeah, you see what I did there. I was an NBA player a while back, just it was online though. But yeah, I got to give Victor, I got to give him some crossovers and stuff, get him ready for the season coming up.
Rudy's joining us today to discuss all things about the Spurs preseason Game 1. And a while, we're going to ask who was the odd man out when it comes to the big guys. Is it Bassey? Is it somebody else? Looking back at that preseason Game 1, there's other highlights. You look at Zach Collins, 15 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, a steal. Looks like he's going to be a nice compliment to Victor. You're looking at even, Doug McDermott, those wide open looks. I talked about that with him on Locked On Spurs recently. He said that he's going to love the spacing that Wemby's going to provide him. And sure enough, 2 for 4 from the field with 12 points. But one guy that caught my eye, and let me get your thoughts on this, was Cedi Osman. He looked pretty aggressive. He looked like he's been a Spur for a while. 18 minutes, 7 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists in 18 minutes. What did you think of from the veteran?
Yeah, see, Osman was a guy that I was saying was my favorite acquisition in the offseason. When I found out that he was going to be a Spur, I was pretty excited because not only do you get, veteran leadership, you got a pretty athletic player right there. And he's going to do another thing that we've talked about in past players like Trey Jones are currently there. He's going to fill the stat sheet. He's going to do the little things for the Spurs that are going to help them get those extra 3, 4, 5 wins on the season, and that's where I'm expecting Osman to be. He's going to come off the bench. And you know what? Barring injuries, he could be a starter for the Spurs, too, in case he needs to fill in somewhere. Said he's going to be a really good piece for the Spurs. He's that extra guy like Doug McDermott who's got the veteran side to him. He has some playoff experience as well. So it's going to help this young group of guys develop into better players with Seti there. I'm right there with you on the Seti love because he did play really well against Oklahoma City. I'm expecting a lot from him this season.
Yeah, look, the Spurs may have lost by a point, 122-121. But again, I've seen the Spurs title teams lose all their preseason games and go on for a championship. Not to say this team's going to do it, but again, it just shows you that these games in the preseason are just to evaluate talent, look at chemistry, look at lineups, and that's all it is. Look, overall, the Spurs did great. You can go up and down the line and, say, yeah, he impressed. A guy like even Dominic Barlow, in 7 minutes, he drops 9 points. You look at Devin Vassell, who looks like he's comfortable out there. He looked like he was taking that leadership role. But let's try not to be the wet blanket here, but we kind of have to. This was a preseason game ultimately. Look, we'll see what this team looks like in the regular season when they matter, when teams trot out their best lineup and the games are for real. And, how much will Sohan and Keldon impact the Wemby? They did not play in that preseason game. I think it's only going to boost them up, but those are two guys that are going to probably demand some touches. What about Rudy, the fact that the Thunder, Shai Gilgeous wasn't out there. There's that guy. I'm pretty sure he probably would have wanted to cross up Wemby and really test the kid. So how much stock are you putting in this first preseason game?
Zero
Okay.
stock. I'm putting zero stock in the preseason period. I mean, right now, I'll be real, man, with the coaching staff, especially Pop, there's no telling what lineup is going to work for the Spurs. And that's why I'm saying it's something that you kind of just take zero stock into it right now, only because you don't know who's going to be the starting five. You don't know who's going to be the main focus on the team. We all expect Wembanyama to be, that guy and the main focus. For all we know, it could be Devin, it could be Keldon, and Victor could be, kind of that guy off to the side where he's getting his points, but he's not the focus point. We don't even know if Trey's going to be starting. Like I said, you could have Keldon, and you may want to start Zach and Victor. So where does that leave Sohan? I mean, you put Sohan, you lose scoring somewhere there. So right now with the preseason, I'm putting zero stock into it. First game in the preseason until I can actually see a consistent lineup for the Spurs and see what the coaching staff are doing. It's kind of like what we've said for a few years already, Jeff. You kind of just want to enjoy the ride while it's happening right now. Take it for what it's worth right now in the preseason. Enjoy the guys playing, watch them develop, watch them grow, and that's going to be the season is going to be until you get an actual rotation going by the coaching staff. Yeah,
look, you can see that although they started off strong, how they wilted when Wemby wasn't out there. You saw the Thunder attack that rim, and I think they had dunks in 3 or 4 straight possessions the moment Wemby went out. Yeah. And you look at the turnover percentage. Spurs had a higher percentage of team turnovers, possessions that ended in turnovers, I should say, 16% to the Thunder's 12%. I mean, you would figure with the length they have with Collins and Wemby alone, that they'll be able to get more second chance opportunities. Not at all. You're looking at the offensive rebound percentage. Thunder had 37%, while the Spurs had 27% of the percentage of the team missing rebound of their own missed shots. So, that's, to me, that's just a sign of chemistry. They just need to still figure things out. Look, I would hope as Wemby improves and, he has another game like that, maybe Pop, you don't play him in the second half. You rest him. Just let him keep getting standing. But look, even if the Spurs were to drop all the preseason games, it's also not a sign of they're going to be failure. This team on paper looks good. This team has the confidence, but we can't judge this team off one preseason game, can we, Rudy?
No, you can't. It's preseason for a reason, man. That's what every sport has it. So it's just trying to get your guys all on the same page. I mean, training camp doesn't do a whole lot for you because you're playing against each other. You're going over play, stuff like that. It's actual court and actually being on the court and actual gameplay that kind of starts to gel everybody together. So preseason or not, they go undefeated, great, which, I mean, they're not going. But if they lose every single game, it's not a big deal. And to be honest, I wouldn't be shocked if you see Pop maybe shut Wemby down for the last couple of preseason games
Sure,
to get him ready for the season. I mean, there's no point in having him out there playing preseason games, every single night or, whatever they're going to do. So I expect him to maybe shut down the last couple of games, get him ready for the season. But yeah, as far as preseason goes, just take it for what it's worth. The biggest thing I want to see with Victor is, like you mentioned, rebounding. He only had 5 rebounds, and I say only. Yeah. He needs to be right around that 8-9 rebound a game mark for him to be really, really effective. What I did love about him, I expected him to be a lot more perimeter just by, what we kind of know about him. But with him being around the rim, you saw it was easy for him to get buckets like that. I expect him to be around the rim a lot more. If he can play low post a lot, then the Spurs are going to be kind of tough to beat. They may not win a whole bunch more games, 20, 30 more games, but they're going to be real tough to beat. They're going to compete a lot as long as Wemby can dominate in the post.
Absolutely. The Spurs won't play their next preseason game until Friday versus the Heat in San Antonio at the Frostbank Center. That'll be Wemby's preseason home debut. I'm pretty sure all fans will be stoked, not only just to see Wemby, but to see Rudy Campos probably there in person. Right?
It's a Friday night. I'm going to try to be there.
When we get back, we're going to ask who is the odd big man out in their rotation and see what's going on with Rudy at Sweep the League right here on Locked On Spurs. But right now, let's talk about FanDuel. New customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. So if you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. Do it right now. The app is easy to use. You got a lot of betting options that include the spreads, player props, over and unders, and more. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon right now to kick off that NFL season, or just go there right now, see some futures. The Spurs, their season's about to start right around the corner. You want to get into the action, go to FanDuel.com/lockedon right now. I go there. You should go there too. FanDuel, the official partner of the NFL. And we also can't forget about Muslinger's Drive-Thru Coffee, locally here in San Antonio. And if you're in San Antonio, you want to go to 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive. That's in the 281-1604 area. Go right now. They're a proud sponsor of Locked On Spurs. They're a proud community member of just San Antonio. They proudly will get you going every day, San Antonio, with the best coffee in town. From their signature Muslinger drink to the Red Bull infused Lightning Bolt series. It's exactly what it sounds like. It powers you up to get you through the day. Or if you want those specialty drinks, you get yourself the OG, which is the classic Orange Julius recreated only at Muslingers. You get yourself the Sub-Zero in honor of UTSA's Frank Harris, or get yourself the Alien. The Spurs season is right around the corner. Get the Alien. It's in honor of Victor, and it's a full can of Red Bull, kiwi, and green apple all mixed together. And there's another drink out there, Rudy, that I'm embarrassed to talk about. It's called the Money Bag, and I hate it, but I don't have to worry about it because I don't think anybody's going to buy it. Because it's $99. It's a matcha tea. Ain't no way anybody buying that, right, Rudy?
Well, I will make my way to go buy it because I have $99 laying around in my car, so I'll afford it and go buy it.
I hear it comes in a like a brass goblet. I'm not kidding. Have you seen the picture?
I have. I'm actually going, like back in the day when we go to McDonald's for the collector's cups. I'm going for the goblet. I'm going for the goblet too.
You already see you on social media posting yourself with that goblet there, and a gold chain and like some the silver teeth, whatever those kids call it. But
Fair.
but yeah, you want to go to Mudslingers. Rudy goes there. They got the mini donuts. They got a friendly staff, dairy alternatives. They got so much on their menu. It's just too much to talk about. Again, 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive. Over 300 5-star reviews cannot be wrong. Go get yourself a cup of coffee right now or more at Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee. Find them on Threads, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, DX, and so many other platforms at Mudslinger SATX. Why? Because life is too short for bland coffee. All right, let's continue our chat about your silver and black right here with Rudy Campos, the legend. He is so awesome that his birthday, everybody, falls on the 34th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's so awesome. They had to create new days just to make sure that he's that special. So
I love that thing about my birthday is I only celebrate it once, in a generation. So
because you're generational. That's why.
Exactly. Generational talent.
Speaking of bigs and Wemby being generational, look, Wemby's in town. He looks raring to go. We'll see how it looks like in preseason game 2. Zach Collins looked pretty good as well. But the Spurs might have maybe a log jam at big, because after Collins and Wemby, it then goes Bassey and then it goes Mamu. Not going to pronounce his last name. I still can't figure it out. But do you think Bassey's going to be the odd man out here, or do you think Mamu might be the odd man out here as far as getting minutes or relegated just to the bench, or maybe even Austin?
So I think what we're going to end up seeing is Mamu's going to actually be on the roster, and he's going to get the minutes over Bassey. And don't forget Barlow. I mean, you still got Dominic Barlow as well.
True.
So I think Barlow and Bassey are going to be Austin bound. And I think Mamu's going to be the last big on the rotation for minutes in the San Antonio Spurs. Because not only that, I mean, you've got Osman who can kind of play a 4 at times.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got some bigs already there. And I'm thinking that, like I said, I think Bassey's going to be the odd man out with Barlow. They're going to probably be in Austin. But who gets called up first, I think just depends on, I guess, the style of play. I mean, if you need a big guy that's going to come in and bang a lot, I would think Barlow would be your guy. Bassey, it's kind of a little bit smoother. So they're both Austin bound. I think Mamu's going to get the nod over both of them.
Yeah, you see, I got Bassey getting the nod. I think Bassey has an athletic physique, and that he can run perhaps better with the team that probably will want to run. Wemby definitely can. I think the whole team wants to just get up and go. No slide at Sandro there. I think he can run, but and Barlow as well. But with the size and the athleticism, the little bit more experience he has in the Spurs system, I think he's it. They're invested in him. They gave him a contract. I know they gave Sandro a contract too. I get that, and you can't base it off of the preseason game 1, because Bassey got close to 16 minutes and Sandro only got about 8. So we have to see on an even playing field. We can't even base on that. But I'm going to give Bassey just the nod simply for his athleticism and his ability to run with this young squad. But man, it's going to be interesting how they sort that out. It really is, because they're all quality bigs. I like Sandro's passing ability. I think his court vision is great, but I like Charles Bassey's bounce. I like that he's able to finish around the rim. Yeah, you're right. I think it could be just situational, huh?
Yeah, it's going to be situational. Does it really, it could be that they're going to keep both probably Bassey and Mamu on the roster. I mean, it could happen. You're going to have a really odd man out if you do that. But not only that, I mean, we're not expecting like Sissoko and maybe even Blake Wesley to be on the starting roster. So it's possible they may keep them, but it's more of a situational thing. I mean, they've got a lot of already, running gun type players already. So keeping Bassey would make sense. It would make them run a lot quicker, a lot more up and down the court. But then again, if you're needing to kind of get, like you said, that passing, Mamu's the guy to get from the big man position. It's going to ultimately come down to Pop and the coaching staff to what they want to do. And that's why I think maybe Mamu, just because of the experience, was going to get the nod. Maybe, but again, Bassey has the opportunities, all the opportunities in the world to get back onto the starting. I'm not starting, but to the regular team roster.
That's definitely really something you're going to watch for this upcoming season, is that big man rotation. Knock on wood, nothing happens to Wemby or to Zach, or especially Zach. We know his history. But the Spurs at least are assured enough that they have quality bigs with Mamu and Bassey at the ready, because I do like them both. We forget that Mamu has experience with the Bucks. He trained with Giannis of all people. I mean, for crying out loud. So, and then same thing with Bassey. He didn't come in with spring chicken. He had experience in Philadelphia. So
Embiid,
he had Embiid there. So, whew. Oh no, poor Spurs! All this riches they have.
It's a good problem.
It's a good problem. It's a good problem. He is Rudy Campos of Sweep the League. Rudy, tell us what's going on with Sweep.
Yeah, so we're working a lot right now with NFL and college football. I know the Spurs season is about to ramp up, so we're trying to put that up into the front burner. But with football already kicking off and being already over a month in, it's all football talk right now, and getting our draft prospects ready. Going through all the Cowboy stuff, all the pains and hearts that all you Cowboy fans go through, trying to make sense of it. And to be honest with you, I cannot make sense of anything when it comes to the
are the Cowboys. Are they toast? Is Dak? Is that it? He's been exposed already. Finally.
Well, Dak's been exposed for years already. You're seeing it again happen again. It's kind of like deja vu. But this four game run that they're on in San Francisco, the Chargers, the Rams, and the Eagles are going to tell a whole lot about your Cowboy team.
Well, I'm not going to be surprised if they wet the bed.
I wouldn't be surprised. I'm kind of expecting it.
He is Rudy Campos. Follow him on Twitter at Sweep the League. You want to do that ASAP. He's a great follow. He'll talk your ear off football and college sports, boxing. The list goes on and on. Give you some nostalgia. Hey, we thank you for making Locked On Spurs your first listen. You want to make sure to follow us on YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes. The list goes on and on. You guys, we appreciate you making Locked On Spurs your first listen every day. You guys are the everydayers. Again, we'll be back tomorrow. More Spurs talk. Yep, the season's right around the corner. Are you going to be going to the preseason game in San Antonio this Friday or no?
I'm not sure yet. I might be out of town, but we'll see. If I am, I'll be there.
I'm never going to invite you to a Comic-Con again.
You gave me a last-minute invite.
I did. It was like 2 seconds before. We had a family member back out of me in the last second. So my first thought was you. I said, okay, I know Rudy will go. I mean, he loves this stuff. And you're like, nope. I'm like, darn it. Yeah. Darn it. We could have nerded out together. Although I nerded out. By the way, when you watch this, or listen to it, because unfortunately we can't do video today, look who introduces your show, Rudy. Your guest spot. You might be pleasantly surprised. You might be very surprised. You might even want to be alone for a while, but we're not going to go there right now. So, we're not going to pull a Jimenez here. But for Rudy Campos, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.